In session 20, our group was tasked with investigating a new species of Vedalken that seems to be following a new religion on some sort of planet off in the distance. They didn't know if this religion was good or bad inherently, so they set out to seek out the answers. Upon arrival, they were treated as sort of aliens to this planet. They come upon this sort of merchant group that lives very shantily, these rags and curtains spread out among building to building, sort of covering themselves from the wind and the hazards of the very sandy and arid terrain that they live in. They noticed one of the larger buildings in the distance, so they seeked out towards that and found the king of the Vedalkens, trying to gain a little bit more information about this situation. They met the king, Ukbal, the queen, and the advisor, Ukli, who, out of the group of aliens, the Vedalkens, that they have met, seemed to be able to speak common. They told them that they had issues with their ship, so they landed here to try to gain answers, sort of a little bit deception there between them and the king and queen and advisor. In the midst of their conversations, they immediately stopped at the time of day it was, and they set off towards a cave in the distance, believing that they had to pray to some sort of higher being. In this cave off in the distance, they found a floating, glowing green rock that was able to speak to them. The rock spoke telepathically in any language spoken to the people around, and the rock spoke to them, telling them to investigate the party that had landed on their new planet. In the effort of doing so, it'll help them grow stronger as a group of people and as a society. After that, the rock stops glowing, goes silent, and lands on the ground. The group of the party starts to move back towards the sort of capital, the manor, the little bit more structured building, to talk to the advisor and the king again. And they said that they want to investigate their ship to try to get a little bit of information about how they got there and how they can possibly get one themselves. They go back and investigate part of the cave and try to look around at what this rock is and where this rock might have come from, what this rock is magical in sense. And they didn't find anything with the rock in particular. They did, however, find a cubby that lied tucked away in the cave above them. It was sort of like a little hidey hole for an individual that might have been camping out here and controlling the rock to some degree, is what they kind of gathered, and it looked like it was habited recently. After going through a little bit of this endeavor of investigating this rock, they ended up going back and trying to talk to the king about what was going on and about how that this might not be exactly what they seemed to be, before they had another meeting. This meeting didn't involve the king and the queen. This meeting was helmed by the advisor, Ukli, and the rest of the Vedalken people. This sort of meeting led to the rock saying that they need to take out the king and the queen. The king and the queen are going to prevent their growth for power, their growth for advancement as a society. Under the instruction of Ukli, Ukli was going to lead them into the new way. These people took up arms, they raised their pitchforks and started to chase towards the king and the queen, but the party was a little bit quicker. They smuggled the king and queen aboard their spelljamming helm and instructed their subordinates on the ship to keep it up off ground to where they couldn't reach. They then once again returned to the cave, and there ensued combat with the party in the rock. This floating rock seemed to smash at them and try to crush them into the ground, all while placing itself just before the cave entrance to block out one of the party members from participating in the fight. It was there revealed that Ukli was using telepathic and psionic powers to control the rock, to speak through the rock, and trying to take out the party from letting them intervene anymore, so that he could steal their technology, research it for himself, and then eventually branch into the stars as the new god of the Vedalkens, being as the subordinate as the speaker for the rock. Because after they were gone, the rock was no longer going to be present in this situation. and with the rock gone, they had to turn to someone new. This combat was pretty quickly dispatched as Ukali tried to hide up in his cubby, but they flew up and took him out, continued on, and then returned to the guild, knowing that the sort of religion that was here was a facade placed by this person. And after returning, they gained a little bit of group money and a boost to their abilities. And that was the end of session 20. See you next time. Thank you all.